Hi, I'm Alex Paulton. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about timekeeping, watches, and horology. I just finished a video on why time is important, and I encourage you all to take a look at it. Pardon me for a second, I want to clear my throat. I encourage you all to take a look at it because I explain fundamentally a couple of significant reasons why timekeeping is still important in modern time beyond just being on time. Today, I'm going to talk about the wristwatch I had in the wristwatch check for that video. I'm wearing my Maurice Lacroix Masterpiece Flyback annual calendar. And I promised I'd make my next video about it, so I just literally turned off the camera from the last video and I thought I would start this video. So we're going to take a look at the Maurice Lacroix Masterpiece Annual Calendar Flyback Chronograph. So let's turn the camera around and take a look. So here we have the Maurice Lacroix Annual Calendar Flyback Chronograph. A really nice piece. I was very surprised to like it as much as I did. Hats off to Federico over at Federico Talks Watches again, because I saw this one in his video on 5 underappreciated watches, and I'll agree with him. This is completely underappreciated, but then that's my win because I picked this thing up for about a third, less than a third of what it retails for, because it drops in value so rapidly because Maurice Lacroix doesn't get any respect. Now, the thing about this watch is it was introduced in 2000, and it does boast an impressive set of complications. It's a flyback chronograph with an annual calendar, which under normal circumstances would push a watch into the 5-figure cost category. But this watch retailed for about $7,000-8,000, and now you could pick it up for between $2,000 and $3,000. So it dropped a lot in value, but it is frankly worth every penny you pay for it now, and it was a justifiable expense at retail even because it is a very nice piece. Now, let's just talk a couple of things about it. Well, first, let's get some of the measurements out of the way, just to be very thorough. We've got, let's say, about a 42 case. And it's about, let's get this NATO strap a little bit out of the way. I put it on a NATO strap to soften it up a little bit, make it a little sportier, because it comes with a very nice crocodile strap, but that makes it look a little too dressy, and I'm really not wearing suits anymore, or even very nice clothes lately beyond a polo shirt or the occasional button-down shirt with jeans. So putting on the NATO strap really sports this up and brings out the sporty aspects of it, like the tach register. It has a tachometer register, and the fact that it is a flyback chronograph. It's a true performance chronograph. And, well, continuing with the measurements real quick, it is 13.7 thick, and it has a lug width of about 20, let's say 20. So, it really is a lovely piece, and it has an interesting case, and the case is part of the reason why it is the kind of watch it is. But I love the fact that it's got the way the pushers are shielded, and it really helps it blend in, and the crown has a nice detailing to it, well knurled. It is a screw down crown, so it does boast a healthy water resistance, which it details on the back. And it's a very nicely finished movement. Now, the interesting thing about this watch, and one of the reasons that it has the interesting case shape is also directly related to the fact that this is a 49 jewel movement. That's a lot of jewels. Now, it is a lot of jewels for an integrated movement, but it's not a lot of jewels for a modular movement, because each module has to have its own set of bearings. And of course, the best modules have jeweled bearings. So this watch is made of 3 separate modules. It has an ETA base 2892. They call it the ML15, Maurice Lacroix. And it's joined up with a Flyback chronograph module. And it is joined to an annual calendar module. So you have 3 modules in here. So they really shape the case to accommodate the different modules without making the case look too bulky. So let's slide the strap back on and get a quick wrist shot. And the reason I was saying I like it more than I thought is I also listened to a lot of the junk about, oh, it's not a great piece, it's a modular movement. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with a modular movement? Maurice Lacroix finishes it beautifully, does a great job of presentation. This is a gorgeous face. I love the big date. It does not bother me that the month is a small window. It does have a very, very elegant inner cyclops, but the month is secondary information. The key is that it's a big date and it changes without me having to worry about it, except on March 1st. And the Flyback, it's just lovely. Clicks clean, just wonderful piece of horology, because yes, it's a modular movement, but it presents a tremendous number of complications for the buck. It's literally the most complicated watch in my collection. I mean, I've got an annual calendar, the Omega Globemaster. I've got, here we go, Flyback. Boom. I've got some other chronos. This is my only Flyback, but I'll probably get some other Flyback downstream. But frankly, I don't see a real need to at this point. I've got a ton of chronos, and this pretty much rounds out and scratches my chrono itch. In fact, I'm selling a couple of them. You can go over to Chrono 24 and look me up. But it's a beautiful presentation. The face is very well loomed. The hands are nicely laid out. I like the way it says Flyback in very nicely done in red lettering over the top of one of the subdials. The date is blank from 1 to 9. Some watches put a 0 there, but frankly, it doesn't bother me one way or the other on that. I think it looks a little bit cleaner with blank. I don't think I have to be shown a 0 to remind me that the date function is working properly. But yeah, like I said, the little bit of a layer cake look, and like I said, it's probably because of to fit the modules. Small seconds at 3 o'clock, and then you've got your totalizers for the chrono at 6 and 9. So let's, like I said, quick wrist shot. Wrist watch check. I'm wearing my Zenith El Primero Rainbow. It's actually named after a racing yacht. It's not, they have a colorful version of this, but that's not why they call it the Rainbow. They call it the Rainbow because of the racing yacht heritage. Now, let's take a quick comparison. For example, these are 2 watches that actually have suffer the same fate. They both share actually some of the same issues. They're both highly respected in certain ways and lose a lot of value after retail. Then again, a lot of stuff does, unless you're Rolex or Patek or, in the triumvirate. Or, well, Rolex isn't, but they're trying really hard to get in. But, yeah, the watches are just very nice. And the Zenith is a beautiful piece as well, and I joke that it's my almost Daytona because anybody who knows the history knows that they licensed the El Primero movement. They changed a lot of pieces, but essentially the design, the topology, as it were, of the movement was Zenith's. So you could replace every piece in a car. If you didn't invent it, then you're just copying it, aren't you? So let's put this on the wrist. And as you see, it really does have a nice presentation. I have relatively small wrists, but big hands, and this comes across quite nicely. It balances well. Because of the layer cake, it would actually slide under a cuff quite nicely, even though it is a relatively thick piece. But just a very nice watch. And like I said, I'm very pleasantly surprised that I like it as much as I do. But again, presentation, finishing, quality, complications, heritage. This watch has it all. And the snobbery of the watch collecting industry has actually given us an opportunity to get a fantastic timepiece at an incredible value. So let's turn the camera around and close out the episode. So that was the Maurice Lacroix annual calendar, Flyback Chronograph. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Speaking of videos, I did want to give a shout out to a bunch of people who I really like, and I wanted to give a shout out and suggest you check them out. Teddy Baldazar. Love the guy. He always answers his messages, or almost always. The ID guy. Theo and Harris. They're always a good source. Gotta mention Paul Pluta. I mean, and Archie Luxury, he's the same guy. In his mind, it's two separate characters, but I don't know where the line quite is drawn. Long Island Watches, love that guy. Next time I'm visiting my mom in Queens, I got to go drop in on him. Bruce Williams, of course, TGV, Urban Gentry. I love his passion. I love his knowledge. He's a really cool guy. Speaking of cool guys, Adrian at Bark and Jack. Very cool, very knowledgeable guy. Drinks a lot of coffee. Hope to drink one with him one day myself. Watchfinder & Co. has the best cinematography. They have the great close-ups, and he knows what he's talking about. Totally watch him. Nick Shabazz. He is a character, and I love him. Check him out. Federico, of course. Federico Talks Watches. Another man knows what he's talking about. Always worth taking a look at. A newcomer is Jenny Ellie, I forget her how to pronounce her last name, but Jenny, her husband's in the industry, I understand, but that has nothing to do with it. Women should be appreciated for their participation in the industry, and she does know what she's talking about. You can tell she's not reading it from a script. And another person who talks extemporaneously, who I love, is the guy from Just One More Watch. I do have one barb I'm going to throw out, and that's to the time teller, because I used to watch him, and then I realized I wasn't really learning a lot, although I still watched him because he has a lot of he has a fun presentation. But he completely boloed it on the Vostok Amphibia. He was perplexed by the floppy crown, who anybody who takes 10 seconds to research it would know why it's there. The Russians, making this as a military issue watch, did not trust the soldiers to screw the crown back down, and so they deliberately made it that shocks on the crown would not damage the movement, which is actually something to commend, not something to be puzzled by, and that's why I literally stopped watching the man. I even sent him a message. Maybe he can respond now that I'm contacting him vaguely. He probably doesn't pay attention to little guys like me. I'm just a hobbyist, a couple hundred followers. But be honest, be good, be true to your craft. And if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, talk about something else. So, thanks for taking the time today. I appreciate it. Have a great day.